Hey, Uncle Bob here again from Serenity Valley Farms, and today we are cooking something special. If you like steak, you like bourbon, you like garlic, this is the appetizer / dinner plate for you. Great. So we're just gonna try and see. Alright, let's go through the ingredients. First of all, we're starting off with top sirloin steak. Beautiful marbling. You can see right here from Serenity Valley Farms. Beautiful steak. It's going to make yummy steak bites. Then we've got some salt and some pepper. 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We've got 5 garlic cloves. Now the recipe originally called to mince finely, but I like a little bigger chunks in this recipe. We've got our Worcestershire sauce and our Dijon mustard in here, and we have some red pepper flakes that we're going to add. The parsley flakes are just for the end to give it a little color, a little brighten it up and a little pizzazz. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to make up some of these steak bites. So all we're gonna do is just cut this meat off the bone. And listen to my farm hand squeak the wheels on the... just gonna clean this up a little bit. There's a little piece of gristle here that was right next to the bone. That won't eat right. Now fat, I would leave the fat on, maybe trim it up just a little bit. Not quite sure why this is wobbling on me. Just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this into about 1.5 inch strips. This one in half. Cut this one. There we go. Yeah, we probably get 3 out of this one. Cut this in half. Now you can make these chunks as big or as small as you want. I like the 1.5 inch. Makes, by the time this cooks down, this is a perfect size for a bite. Let's see it. That's that. We don't want that in there. So the dog's going to get a treat later, and we are going to wipe my hands off. And then put some salt and pepper on here. This is just salt and pepper. Pretty liberal coating. A lot of it's going to cook off on the griddle, so not to worry. We're only putting it on 2 sides. Actually, you know what? We should put it on all sides. What do you think, Mr. Cameraman? He nodded yes. Very good. Let's just around, get it all over all the sides. And then they are ready to go on the griddle. Now I'm going to let these sit about 10 minutes while the griddle heats up. And the reason we do that, we want to kind of draw some of the moisture out. The salt's going to draw the moisture out of the meat. And it's just going to let it just get a better crust on it. So anyway, I'm going to get the griddle going, and we'll be back in just a minute. All right, we've got our beef cubed up. Our griddle is hot. I have it running about medium on this side, and that's pretty darn warm. And I got it lower on here, and you'll see why in a minute when we get to the cast iron pan. Let's put some oil on here. Spread that around a little bit. We don't want too much oil on here. Just enough. You'll see my griddle is not level, so everything wants to run that way. That's okay. Here's our steak bites. Let's get these spread out. These are not going to take long. Now, let's talk about temperature for a minute. These, I like to cook them to pull them off at about 120 and let them finish. They'll finish right around 130-ish, and they'll be a perfect medium. And I think that's a really good place for steak bites. Go any more, it's just going to get kind of chewy. Go any less, you really don't want a bloody steak bite, but maybe you do. So you cook them how you want to cook them. That's what I do, and it seems to work out fine. And as you can see, these are run pretty good. You get a bit of a Maillard reaction on there already. Look at that, see? Crisping up really nice. Cooking that fat up. Need to get me one of them temperature guns so I can tell you how hot the griddle is, but I'm guessing it's when we pull these off, we're going to start with the sauce. We'll start the sauce, but I'm going to go ahead and put the pan on now, just so that it can start to heat up. You see the cast iron pan, put it right here on the griddle. I did kind of preheat it before and I pulled it off. Still feeling pretty warm. I'm going to go ahead and start with just a little bit of oil in here. While these are finishing up. Still got a bigger frying pan now. That one's not quite heavy enough. They're looking pretty darn good. Oh yeah, they're coming out. See, they went from 95 to 125. About 15, 25. Threw that one at the cameraman. Let's let these sit and rest. And then let's make the sauce. So let's make the sauce. The first thing I'm going to put in here, and maybe it's a little crazy, but I'm just going to put these pepper flakes in there and let them just sit in that oil for just a minute. Looks like that pan needs to heat up some more. I'm going to throw one of these butters in here. This is the Dijon mustard and the Worcestershire sauce. So we get all of it. And then the most important part is the bourbon. Calls for a quarter cup of bourbon. That's about what I got left in this bottle. Little story on this bottle. It's all this whiskey came from one cask, and a good friend of ours was able to get a hold of a whole cask or a whole barrel, and so she has these bottles. But this will never be able to be gotten again. It is, yes, it's Maker's Mark, but it is truly a one-of-a-kind whiskey. Now, one last ingredient. One last ingredient. Here we go. There you go, Lenny. Hope you're watching. Sorghum. Sorghum is made from cane sugar, and here in Kentucky and in Tennessee, they, homesteaders, farmers will raise a little bit of cane sugar, a couple rows of it, maybe 50, 60 feet long. And then all the neighbors get together into a community and they run it through, it's kind of like a press. It crushes it and draws all the sugar liquid out of it. And they take that and they reduce it and they take all the water out of it, and kind of think of videos or things you may have seen about maple syrup. So the reason why this sorghum is so special is I got this from my really good friend Lenny. And Lenny just passed away, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so. And he was a true mentor of mine and a true, an inspiration to me, somebody I really looked up to. And I'm sorry to see that he's no longer with us. But anyway, he made this with his neighbors. And I was lucky enough to get a jar, and we're going to use that jar in this recipe today. So this recipe goes in honor of Lenny. Melt off there a little bit. Stir this up. Just come together a little bit. Only got the one ingredient left, and that is, I don't know why that mustard's not coming apart. All right, the last thing we're going to add in our sauce here is this garlic. The star of the show, along with the bourbon. I think they're like co-stars. What do you think? Put that in. We're gonna wait for it to get just a little fragrant. And then we'll pull it off. Okay, it's about 80% of the way there. I'm starting to smell it. Put our steak back in it. Just kind of toss this around in it. Now, this is probably not a recipe that's going to make you lose weight. It's a good recipe for our carnivores, except for that sorghum, which is basically straight sugar. There's not a ton of it in there, but it probably will throw your carb count off. To help offset that, we just need a little bit of fat, and that's where this butter comes in. Now we're going to turn off the griddle. We don't want to cook this butter. We just want it to melt in there, give it a nice sheen, and matter of fact, I'm just gonna pull it off, because it's a cast iron pan, and a cast iron pan will stay warm. Let's just pull it off and set it right over here. and we'll add this butter in. And we just want this to melt and just give it some shine. Okay, I'm going to get this plated up, and we will get back and see what the dog's barking about. Always barking at us because he can. Gotta love farm life. All right, we'll be back when we get this plated up. All right, now we got it all plated up. It looks pretty. I tasted the sauce, and just needs a hint, a little salt, a little more salt and pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, just a hair. And then a little green for a little, would be nicer if it was fresh, but that's what we got. Look at that, the big chunks of garlic, which I like. The sauce looks perfect. That brown color of the sauce really looks perfect with steak. It really goes together. It's a pretty looking dish. If you had some fresh chives or any type of green you could put on here, might make it pop a little more, but this is really good the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and try it, and let's see what happens. See if we did all right. I know it's going to be good because I did it as a test recipe a couple of days ago, and for starters, I can't say enough about our sirloin steak. The 21-day aged. It eats a lot like a ribeye. It's not chewy. It's nothing that you would expect from a sirloin steak. It's just a super really good steak. And if you want to spend a little bit extra money on a steak, go with the Serenity Valley Farms sirloin. It's a great steak. It's a great steak. The butter, the garlic, and the sorghum go together just tremendously. It's very rich. It's very the mouthfeel is good. Those little bit of peppercorns we put in there, just a slight little bite. Now, if you don't want any heat, don't put the peppercorns in. And the last thing, that the flavors in the background there, I know we cooked most of the bourbon off, but that bourbon flavor is just staying there. And if you're gonna cook with, Maker's Mark is a great one to cook with. This just hits a home run. If you're watching this, give us a follow, give us a like, share it. Why not? Be one of our 39 subscribers. Help support small farmers like us. Help rural America. We all need your help. We're not Walmart. We're not Costco. We're not any of that stuff. We're just good people trying to do good things. So until next time, remember, steak bites, bourbon, garlic steak bites, and remember, Bob's your uncle.